Welcome back to Drink This. Thanks a lot for tuning in again. We really appreciate you coming to the show. Welcome, Ron. Nice to have you back.
Nice to be back.
All right. And so, premise for tonight's show. Thought we'd get right to the point. Dive right in.
Jeez, you have a date or something?
No.
No, okay.
Not much going on, actually. But I want to try and do a
You have a
concise show.
Sorry.
We have a Peanut Gallery with us. Say hi, Peanut.
Hello.
You're supposed to say hi, Peanut.
Hi, Peanut.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Ron had a pretty good premise for tonight's show. He thought we would try a Cabernet Syrah blend.
Actually, I mentioned Cabernet Merlot, but
I thought you said Syrah.
no, I said Merlot.
So
I figured there'd be.
So I screwed up.
They'd be very well. You know what? You went and bought the bottle, so I can't complain.
Ron had the idea of having a blend of two wines.
Correct.
And then having the blend and each of the wines individually.
Right. So taste what one should taste like versus the other, and then when you put them together, what do you get?
Right. So we did that. I bought the wrong bottles apparently.
Well,
But
just one.
we're gonna try it with Cabernet Syrah, and then try a Syrah and try a Cabernet and see if we can find the middle ground, the blend, the goodness. We're gonna search for the goodness.
You lost me at Syrah.
The wines that we'll be trying tonight are Penfolds, Koonunga Hill from South Australia.
I'm sure you've all heard of Penfolds. It's
Penfolds, one of the greatest.
very.
So Penfolds against a Michael David winery from California, also very well known, out of Lodi,
And a mystery wine.
and a mystery wine that I picked up at our local shop from the American Cabernet. Well, there's not a Cabernet section, but it's our higher end part of the store where you expect to find good wines. It's called Prohibition 1920. But once I got home, I couldn't find anything about it. It's like a mystery wine. I couldn't find their website. I couldn't find any reviews or ratings of the wine. I was very surprised. So we'll try it and we'll see what we can get.
All right, so I just poured 2 glasses of the Prohibition 1920, the California
Cabernet.
Cabernet Sauvignon. So
Holy mackerel.
it is pretty light for a cab.
Looking against the white background, and usually cabs tend to be on the purple side, to be
Yes.
honest.
This
They're
is
pretty
a little scarlet,
light,
red,
very light.
little
Almost
brown
it looks like a
tinge to
burgundy.
it.
Looks like a burgundy.
Looks like a burgundy.
Surprising for a Cabernet.
Yep. So let's see. Doesn't smell like a Cabernet either.
If it doesn't look like a Cabernet and doesn't smell like a Cabernet,
Then it must be a duck.
Quack.
thanks. If we were blind tasting, and we've done it before, and we're not half bad at it, there's no way on earth I would say.
Good.
There's no way on earth I would have guessed Cabernet for this wine. In fact, it's reminding me a little bit of those box wines we had a couple weeks ago. Just plain, bland, generic, not very good wine.
Right. There's a little more of a finish to it.
It's not as sharp or rough, but it's
but
also pretty boring.
There's very little acidity, very little tannin. There's a fruity candy type flavor to it. There's a candy finish. No oakiness. And I'm not a big fan of California, big oaky flavors. I like
Yeah, it should be
I like the
nuanced.
cabs that have a bit more going on.
Yeah.
And this is not one of them. So on further research, your wife Baharik found a little bit on the winery, and it's actually a Quebec company that produces the wine in California.
To the likings of Quebecers, so they
Apparently-
said. But I'm a Quebecer,
And I'm a
I'm
Quebecer.
not liking it.
And definitely not. This is very sweet.
Show up the bottle. It's called Prohibition 1920. I found it in the U.S. section.
And it should be prohibited in 2020.
Yeah, and now let's throw out the price. Like I said, $20. I am not pleased exchanging my $20 bill for this particular bottle.
No.
I don't think that was a good trade.
So, yeah, definitely a thumbs down there. And unfortunately, it's going to throw off our test.
Yeah.
Because we were hoping to really get a good taste of a cab and a good taste
with
of
the
a Syrah.
distinctive things that you usually find, some spices, a little bit of wood, some nice dark fruits.
Right, and hope to see what that brings together and what we get in a blend. But
all right, let's move on and try a better wine.
Next one. So Bruce, next wine is the Sixth Sense, the Charles David Syrah.
Michael David.
David. Charles David. Where's Charles David? Who's Charles David?
From Charles & Charles. We tried that a few weeks ago.
There you go.
I'll put a link right up there. Thanks
Okay.
for mentioning it. It was a good wine. I remember liking
pleasure.
that one.
So Syrah, I hope that we also California.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that this one doesn't disappoint like the Cab or the faux Cab.
Well, Michael David is a very well-known, well-respected winemaker. The
Yeah.
Phillips family have been farming in near Lodi, California for 150 years,
So you'd think they know something about it.
growing grapes since the early part of the century and making wine since, I think, 1982.
They have.
This bottle is $23, so it's slightly more than the other bottles we're trying. And let's see what we get. It's got a very nice nose, I must say, actually.
Yeah, not too woodsy though. Leaves a little sweetness.
Like those
In
fig
the palate.
cookies you get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, quite nice.
And the legs, for those who don't know, basically the legs are when you swish your glass around, and the little droplets that come down denote the alcohol levels. And
Mhm.
the more legs you have,
Or the slower they fall
the
down your
slower
glass.
the fall. The higher the percentage of alcohol.
Yeah,
should
the
be.
higher the viscosity, which represents a higher alcohol. And this is a great
Yeah.
example of a higher alcohol wine. So that it really
Yeah.
becomes sticky to your glass.
And basically, it's a 14% wine. So, and it's high in sugar.
Was it 14 or 15?
Is it 14 or
I think it was
15?
15.
15%.
Yeah, so it's a great example of legs.
It's almost port.
And it has that richness of port,
does.
actually. I'm really liking it.
It's a nice wine.
I've had some of their other wines before, and I think this might be my favorite. And it's really nicely priced at $23.
This is a nice wine for $23. Compared to the $20 Cab,
Yeah,
The
I'm going to be
Prohibition.
buying a couple bottles of this, actually.
this is a nice wine.
Mhm.
So the premise didn't pan out, but doesn't mean that we can't enjoy the wine that we have.
And we can give a good rating to the wines.
For sure.
We
Uh,
have Michael David's Sixth Sense, which we've already given a solid thumbs up to.
Definitely.
The Prohibition 1920
And we
went the other way.
Very rarely do we find a
Yeah.
wine that we both don't like
Yeah.
and really don't like, and this is one of them. So
Yeah.
let's try the Penfolds.
Penfolds Koonunga Hill. Penfolds,
So-
of course, I think we mentioned at the onset, it's a very well-known, well-respected winery. Have a broad range of wines from
Right.
their world-famous Grange wines, which are, I haven't had one yet, but from everything I've read, they're unbelievable.
Yeah, I've heard some
they
good
go,
things as well.
They go through their bins, and they get down. The Koonunga Hill is their entry-level wine, but these guys,
They know what they're doing.
exactly.
So, and they're not trying to be something they're not.
Yeah, and here's a little tip.
that's
Do a YouTube search for Penfolds winemaker. I can't off the top of my head remember his name, but he's such a gentleman worth listening to. He's got such an eloquent way of speaking, and his passion for wine is second to none. And so just search Penfolds winemaker or chief winemaker, and you'll get some really nice clips of him speaking about wine.
Well, Penfolds, I think you've discussed in the past, is that it's a very, very large winery out of Australia.
Mhm.
They have some very good wines.
Yeah.
They don't try to be anything other than the big producer of wine that they are. They
Mhm.
know what they're doing and they know where they're going. It would have been nice for a Quebec company to actually put their own identity into the wine as opposed to taking a California Cab and trying to make it something that
I
it's
feel
not.
like they're trying to be sneaky about it.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why we're disappointed as well. We were picking up a California Cabernet Sauvignon, expecting it to be that, and
It
unfortunately
wasn't.
it wasn't.
It wasn't even close.
So it would have been nice. But anyway,
Alright.
that said, let's enjoy our Penfold. Cheers.
Yeah.